welcome. Welcome, one and all.
Thanks so much, guys, for coming in, and we're just getting prepped for the big stream tonight. Gonna probably wait for a minute before we get everything started. I apologize for, well, this is it. The last time we were here, I'm gonna go ahead and get on the book face. This is it. I'm doing this. This is it. It's trial day.
Yes.
Let's cut to the chase, Cannonball. It's trial day for Matt on guard. The Nickel Samurai is on trial for the murder of Juan Carita,
aka the Jammin' Ninja.
Okay, thanks for the hot tag there, package. So we've done our investigation. We know that there's twists and turns. We found some very deep secrets, but now everything is going to supposedly come to a head in this trial. We'll see, or you know how these cases work out. There's always something thrown in the mix, and there's always something. There's always something. So, by the way, I think before we go any further,
yes,
let's just make sure that today our stream is unofficially sponsored by C4. You know what time it is. Just take your favorite beverage. Go and pull the pin back. Because what time is it?
Time to get bombed. I'm ready. Tastes like Skittles.
Ready too. Man, it's soaking wet. So,
is this too loud or not really? I'm on my mic? No.
We'll let the people tell us if it's too loud or not.
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
Yep. So if you don't want your ears blown out, give us a shout.
Yes, please, by all means.
All right, let's go ahead and change things because I went to the store to keep the music from playing, and there's this whole newfangled thing called Overwatch 2. I'm not sure what that's all about, but
me neither.
Well, regardless, it's time to bang the gavel, so to speak. Let's do this.
The court must now come to order.
Yep, quite literally.
Good news. The check cleared. It's go time.
I don't think anybody heard that, but anyway. Farewell, my turnabout. Let's go.
Let's go. March 22nd, 9:47
a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3.
Agent did it?
That's what it looks like.
Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that.
For today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you.
A mountain of evidence?
I'm certain there is someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you.
Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that.
I understand. Well, it's almost time.
Well, it's almost time.
Mia.
You must get a complete acquittal today.
I know, but I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day.
Indeed. Well, let's get going.
Beep, beep, beep. Uh-oh. Here we go. It's him! This is Wright.
Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial.
Maya, she's unharmed, right?
Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired.
Ah!
Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning.
Yeah, I am going to change the camera angle a little bit and see if I can see Andrew's beautiful face a little bit more. Okay. Present? What in the world would you want to give me?
You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please.
Wait! sent me a present.
This lawyer dude? Who was that?
No one. Has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything.
Dude, did your nose just get longer?
Asshole. March 22nd, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 3.
Nobody at the prosecutor's table.
Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Ongar. All the prosecution and defense ready. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Huh? I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Ms. Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me?
Your Honor,
Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it?
Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Ms. Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman.
What? Shot? Shot?
What in the world? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about.
His present?
Ms. Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage.
This is totally insane. But Ms. Von Karma, is she all right? I don't have that answer.
She's alive and in stable condition.
That's good. Whew. I thought he'd show up.
Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Ms. Franziska Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally.
Oh, what the hell?
Mom, you're doing just fine, bro. Ms. Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery.
Well, would you look at that? Just like her dad.
Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Ongar.
The court acknowledges the prosecution.
Right? I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer.
Huh.
Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, name and occupation.
My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now. After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. To Detective Gumshoe.
The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's have your testimony. If you want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight.
Yeah. I have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth.
Gee, I wonder what that could be.
Let's talk about it. Bare facts of the case. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Carita, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room. Yes, sir. Both the victim and defendant went alone to their room, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
All right, here we go. Facts of the case.
This murder happened after the Hero of Hero Award ceremony. Let's do it for fun. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 p.m. and ended around 8 p.m. And then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct?
Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period.
Please continue with the testimony, Detective. The victim, Juan Carita, was found dead in his hotel room. Hold it. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt Ongard's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir. Ah, she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Ongard. After visiting his room, she went next to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see. And that's when she found the victim's body. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. Hold it. Cause of death. Wasn't that because Mr. Carita was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, a real pro's attention would be drawn here, to this bandana. Bandana? His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir.
Ooh.
Don't miss that. Ah, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Then, what about the knife? It seems it was stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. Autopsy report added to the court record. Strangled with a scarf and stabbed with a knife. Whack. At first we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. Hold it. Why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar, and we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, and how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that too, but... What? The only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. Oh, so much for my theory, then. Anyway. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. How's that? What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Carita, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. Sir, you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. That guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all. Well, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's true.
Well, I don't know.
Something tells me that's going to be important. Something, I don't know.
I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt Ongard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him.
Here it comes. Looks like Edgewood's back in full swing. Very well, Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Why arrest Ongard? Matt Ongard and Juan Carita were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's butt, which ripped off the ninja costume and was found in Mr. Ongard's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Bought or brought? Whatever. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. They're sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir.
Knife out of the court record.
And there's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And is this button also covered in blood? Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? Damn.
Damn, son.
Ooh. All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it?
Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, Wright?
Ha! I'll find the hole in your argument somehow.
You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions.
Alright.
You want to check out the button in the knife first?
Yeah, just... Hi, Maddie!
Maddie!
So...
Thank you so much for liking the stream.
Well, I can't look at it right now.
Nope. Man on guard, one creator, huge rivals with each other.
Hold it! But in terms of popularity, Mr. Ungard won, did he not? Yeah, but you know what's ironic, pal? Juan Carita was always one step behind Mr. Ungard on everything. This year it seemed like he finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. Mr. Carita lost the Grand Prix in the end. That's too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's not enough.
Keep going.
Okay. As for evidence, there's a Jamba Ninja's button.
Keep going.
Alright, it was ripped off the ninja costume was found in Mr. Ungard's account.
Next.
The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife.
Again?
So just go forward?
Forward.
Alright. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes it a premeditated murder. So
what about the knife? Present that.
Objection! Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument was that this was a premeditated murder? Wait, so the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh?
Remember?
Take a good look at the handle of this knife and you'll see what I'm talking about. Huh? There's a Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually the property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. That doesn't mean a damn thing. Yes, it is very true. It's a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless.
What?
I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined.
How so?
I admit this knife is hotel property. There's no one currently on the police force that's dumb enough not to realize this.
I didn't... Oh.
The question is, where did this knife come from?
We know where it came from. Well, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Carita's room.
No, it didn't. Nope. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table.
There's a knife and fork on the table.
But that's...
Then, where in the world did this knife come from? Here we go.
If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt Ongard.
Yep.
Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, We came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Ongard's knife was missing. Mr. Ongard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder.
Jeez.
Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction.
It seems like Edgeworth had this planned from the very beginning.
This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it.
A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here.
I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court.
Evidence not yet shown.
He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence.
What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright?
Well,
Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we enter with something wrong here,
that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat.
Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court?
actually, we do.
There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see.
Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one.
What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here.
If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us.
You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court?
Careful. Try the wine glass. See what they say about that. The wine glass.
Well, it's no sign it's been drunk, so what the hell's that gonna... Well, let's try it.
Take that!
This is a wine glass, is it not?
Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. Because again, that was Gumshoe who brought that up. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser.
Yes, I see your point.
However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do y'all have to say?
Well, yes, it is a little peculiar.
Yes, isn't it? I thought it was.
You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth,
What is it, Your Honor?
your opinion.
You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass.
What?
It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place by the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking.
That does sound very plausible. Mr. Wright?
Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking?
There's no way.
If I appear weak here and the trial is over, I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty.
You just might fall for it if you thought-provoking enough.
The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table.
You turn the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim?
There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing.
Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it.
What?
You're not thinking hard enough today, Wright. Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice?
Then...
Of course it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints.
Fingerprints?
There are only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass.
Only one? Well, whose were they?
They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were one of Adrian Andrews.
What? So there you go. Has it?
That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright?
I can't believe I fell into another trap!
Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Carita. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser.
There's gotta be something else to this.
What you just said makes a lot of sense.
Now do you see, Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover.
But wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict.
Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution is yet another witness we would like the court to hear from.
This could probably be his undoing. Another witness?
Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking?
Yeah, this is weird. Oh, God.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation, please. G-O-T-C-H-A, gotcha!
I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier.
Oh, Edgy boy, it's been what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet? It was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand. I tell you this time, I know what I'm supposed to do. Okay, I'm going to tell you anything and everything, even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime.
Oh, boy.
Ms. Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know.
Shut! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wadgy right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps.
Yes, madam.
No, please, by all means, interrupt her, please! Anyway, witness, your testimony, please. Do what they say, and you are hunted nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my theory won. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you were a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard saying he's cute in a French way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Carita.
Those two were the same age.
Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder.
Oh my gosh. I think Edgeworth is doing too much here.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo.
I'm not sure what the heck he's trying to do something else.
I think he's fighting for the truth here. Who knows? Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. There was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was on guard. Man on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
So Mr. Angard came out to the victim's room.
See? It has to be him. He's a murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around the hallway in front of his room.
Alright, so
Keep going.
that's too impressive.
Hold it.
Ms. Oldbag, what was your post on that night?
In the lobby. I was supposed to upset the stage for that trifling show. But if it was help, I'll have you know, it was for that lead-headed samurai show. I even took out a few of the nails.
Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on.
Besides, that manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little.
And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door.
It was something I was interested in finding out, you know.
Just keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
All right.
Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. There was a man coming out of 4-1's room. He was on guard. Man on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
Hold it. You saw my client? Are you sure about that?
Yes, he.
Really?
Annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person.
Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further.
The person's clothes.
Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail.
What a troublesome man you are, really. As if something like that matters.
And it does.
Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing.
What thing?
That gaudy thing he's always wearing. That racing jacket.
Ah, he was wearing that at the detention center, too.
That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Man.
Right.
Sir, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
It was very important.
Of course it was important, Your Honor.
Objection! And perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important.
Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony.
I don't quite see where you're going with this, but all right. Witness, please.
Well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must. He was wearing his flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show. I don't know about that. Present something.
So let's see.
What about the ninja button?
Objection! Ms. Oldbag?
What? Don't say my name for no reason.
You know what this is?
It's button number 2 in the Gem and Ninja's costume.
Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance.
Give it here! Give it here! You don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this!
Wow. She really is a diehard fan who want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Ungard's body during a full body search.
See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal Ungard.
It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai Hakama pants.
See? See? And Ungard is a nickel samurai.
Witness, now it may just be me, but I do have an active imagination. But just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt Ongard, was wearing his usual racing jacket?
I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe you'd think I was the 20th fucking outfit. This outfit is hideous, right? Gotta tape a quarter second. My chest, let me tell you, it's heavy. So heavy. Get out there. What's hard with a smile like this? Don't you understand? Now take a look at a mirror. Your clothes are about as interesting as documentary and curly. You should take a tipper turn. He's not ready.
Now hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Ongard the man, but Mr. Ongard the nickel samurai.
When you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway.
Ms. Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about.
Andy Boo, you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering.
Just say it's important and agree with me for a change.
Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
All right, if you insist.
I should be the one sighing, not you. Jesus.
Who I saw. On guard. On guard. Yes, now I remember. The nickel samurai, that's right. It was a nickel samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. don't know about that stuff.
I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume.
What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things.
But the possibility does exist.
Ah, youngin' today. I told you there's no way it was anyone else.
How do you know that?
Because I said so, and what I say is the truth.
At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago.
Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
All right. Round 3. Round 2, rather. Good. Just now I remember. Go. Nickel Samurai, that's right. It was the press. Hold it.
Hold it. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, he said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not?
Not too long ago? Anyway, let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream?
Huh?
What do you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper?
My dream, huh? Well, I wanted to be Judge Wagner, hero of the public's court. So what?
See? Look at where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you?
Well,
I said earlier, who puts any weight in things like that? Now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past.
since when did court become theatrics over testimonies? Hang on, Phoenix.
Whoa. All that matters is that man was inside that costume. Isn't that enough? Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. Judge Wagner.
So I gotta.
Keep going. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. Yes, he did, so...
Keep going?
Yeah, keep going. So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume. Well, stab me poor one with what? The knife?
So maybe that's what we presented him with. Objection! Please take a look at this.
Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work.
No, that's not my intention at all.
That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct?
Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case?
You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it.
Is that what you're driving at?
That is exactly what I'm driving at.
What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving?
If Mr. Rongard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife.
See?
Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on this knife right off.
Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he?
Objection! He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing.
Objection! Why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There is no way he would do something like that.
However, there is one possibility.
Then let's hear your possibility.
It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show, which is why he took his gloves off.
But the murder still did take place.
It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim.
Yes, I've heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory?
So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with his theory? There's a contradiction.
There is a contradiction.
This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony.
What are you babbling about?
Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Rongard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent, because...
Is it the knife again?
This knife, this was used by Mr. Rongard at dinner.
Yes, we did establish that.
Which means that if my client was, in fact, the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita.
I suppose.
However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. One more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. Yep.
Order, I say. Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing?
To frame Matt Ongard.
It's to frame my client, Mr. Ongard, of course.
To frame?
Objection! Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one?
Objection! We just established that the witness saw the nickel samurai in costume, and if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife.
Witness! Looks like I made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Agey Poo?
Witness, did you or did you not really see the nickel samurai?
Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but...
Are you saying you mixed up Mr. Ongard with the nickel samurai, his character on TV?
I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around the front of their doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for a nickel samurai, that's for sure.
She wasn't waiting for the nickel samurai. All right, then. Who were you waiting around for, then? Probably Juan.
Nope. That's top secret to anyone outside of the security.
I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Corrida. Am I correct, witness?
Well, you think you are a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness.
Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of?
So Old Bag was waiting around in front of the victim's room, but it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Corrida.
Maybe. Phoenix, maybe the old bag was waiting around for that person.
If it's what I think Mia's hinting at, it's certainly possible. Ms. Oldbag, you were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? It was, I know exactly who it is. Adrian Andrews.
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
Yep, because of the juicy gossip.
Oh, yes.
Who is this person?
This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Ongard's manager.
But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room?
It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor.
Oh, this is... I see.
The judge seems to be really into the article. If it could be called such a thing.
Then this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's...
Adrian Andrews. Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then.
Witness, what in the world are you...
Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course.
But what for?
Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here?
I really don't want to do this. However, I cannot simply let this point slide.
I see. Very well then, witness, please testify about this secret information.
Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of you youngins.
I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Dumbass.
Here we go. That Ongard is one evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet, okay? Well, press her on that.
Do you press her?
I say press her on that.
The defendant sent his manager? What a distasteful topic for this court.
What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying? The truth is never pleasant.
Never heard that one before.
Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person?
We have looked into this matter and found that the truth the article proposes is, in fact, baseless gossip.
But should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim.
So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now. That's right. On guard is nothing but your average full-blooded youth.
Well, as the old saying goes, you gotta burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone.
Yep.
It's so stupid. so just press her on the last statement then?
I think so, yeah. And on guard is one evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan.
And then keep going.
Keep going. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action.
Keep going.
Keep going. Oh, and this is top secret. What's top secret?
Hold it. Wait.
What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over.
Secret information that no one else knows yet? If that's true, then how do you know this secret information?
Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yeah, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drill a hole in my brain, you'll never find out.
How in the world did that old bag get such a secret piece of information?
I would say, present evidence.
So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Ms. Oldbag?
Why are you looking at me like that? Stop that!
Witness? I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it?
Well, what do you think Lotta Hart was doing for that big scoop?
Got her camera. So does that woman...
That's how she found out, right?
The investigative photographer, Lotta Hart.
Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl.
She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself.
She reported such a thing.
On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous impressions about the relationship between the victim and Ms. Andrews.
What? Outrageous ideas, you say?
No, I said impressions.
Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless?
Ah, that's it. That's the note.
No! You see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy!
Are you the one who took Miss Hart's note?
I'm a huge fan of Juan, that's why. And then for this puffy-haired whippersnapper, he's working with that evil on guard. She said so herself. On guard, I am his sidekick. She was so happy, smiled like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Eddie Boo, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine.
Well, this earlier piece of paper, I suppose we could overlook this just once.
She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her?
Nope, pile on more pressure.
If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct?
Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible, lonely trash can, that's all.
You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it.
Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again?
Ms. Oldbag, I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night.
She stole the camera.
So present the camera
Yes,
again.
she stole the camera.
Ms. Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it?
A camera?
Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, my sweet $1,600 camera disappeared on me.
Remember?
Yep. Why, witness.
What is it, Gramps?
If you have the note, then it is only logical that you have the camera too.
Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for?
That's...
What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a virgin, you know? I still eat meals like you, I fall in love, and borrow things from people.
I think your definition of borrow is a little off.
I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said, Slimeback Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of picture she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things.
Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry! We must examine them at once.
Man.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have?
There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case.
Please present it to the court.
Look at this.
Somebody standing up.
This is the Nickel Samurai.
Now hang on, but that's a guy in costume.
Yes.
Yes, there's the pants and everything.
See, I told you. That's the guy I saw.
But then that doesn't prove it's on guard, right?
Right.
This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter.
Not a photo in the court record.
What does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Ongard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume.
If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is...
Wait a minute now. There's something strange about it. See his pants? The defendant.
Did I go too fast?
No, you didn't go too fast. It's fine. The defendant.
What are you saying?
You can take a look at the photo if you want to.
All right. How did it come to this?
Well, look at the photo. Do you see anything strange about this photo?
He's wearing a mask. And
What about those pants?
What?
What about those pants?
I mean, yeah, those pants are kind of funky, but I don't see any blood on them.
No.
And I don't see a place where a button.
Go back out.
All right, okay.
Keep going.
How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We've examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close.
I don't think so.
Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client?
If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. If I raise an objection here and blow it, then it would put Maya's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's
Something strange with it. Yes.
there's something strange with this photo.
I knew this was coming, right?
Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster.
Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, please look at the photo one more time.
Really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo? Then you should only need one chance, correct?
Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts?
Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange?
The feet. There's something wrong about the feet.
So just point
Yeah,
right
where's
here.
the feet?
I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here.
What are you pointing to? His ankles?
If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't.
And what does that mean?
The costumed person in this photo could not have been Mr. Ongard.
What is the meaning of this?
Objection! I wonder if you would care to elaborate. With actual facts, that is.
Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster.
Ah, see?
Yep. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama.
His socks. You can see his socks.
Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding up his hakama just to walk. There is only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Remember? All right. I think I've turned things around for myself this time.
It's curious.
Huh? What is?
Edgeworth is unusually calm today.
That's true.
He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride.
Along for the ride? What do you mean by that?
I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all.
Doesn't feel under attack? And I haven't damaged this case at all?
Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt on guard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless.
I figured it would come to this.
What?
Right? I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt Onguard. In that case,
Who is it?
who is this a photo of? Remember who tried to walk? Remember who old bag was waiting for?
Yep, who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume?
Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think?
Yeah, why is he so calm?
Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph?
It's Adrian Andrews.
Yes.
I mean,
But she's short, right?
she's definitely shorter. Or Adrian Andrews? If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it is none other than this woman.
And why would you say it must be Ms. Andrews? What in the world points you to her?
For starters, she's short. And she can freely move in and out of Mr. Onguard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Onguard that night.
And how does that all add up?
It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Onguard's fingerprints all over it.
The knife that was used as a murder weapon.
Why don't you just say what it is you want, right?
I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Ms. Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Carita. It was Ms. Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime.
Order! 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 It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth,
Yes, Your Honor.
this court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. The verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony.
Right, this is it.
This is kind of bad for us.
Huh? What do you mean?
If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day.
One more day. Ah! If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya...
Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow.
Well, what am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court.
Raise an objection.
Now then,
Objection! Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today.
I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony. She's not...
Hold
Hold it! Hold it! I abhor wasting such valuable time.
Edgeworth.
Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial.
But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development.
Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor.
So what do you mean by that?
That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Ms. Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on.
What? So he knew about it.
What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth?
Ms. Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness.
Everything was planned out in advance by that man?
Somehow, I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly.
Very well, we will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. Court is adjourned.
To be continued. Well, we're only an hour
Well,
in.
it's not
Let's keep
adjourned, but that's it for trial foreman. It's only been an hour. Yep. Let's keep going, kid. Now it's time for the ladder of the trial.
March 22nd, 2:14 p.m. District Court. Defendant lobby number 3.
Dude, I can't believe that, Adrian. No way! Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews.
She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her.
So after the ceremony, during the break, I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See?
See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your comma.
Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her?
Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Carita.
But why? I thought she was buds with Juan.
She has her own agenda.
Her own agenda? What are you talking about?
I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. You'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today.
Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Select's Impact's missing suicide note, right?
Yes. Ms. Andrews depended on Ms. Impact as her strength and reason to live. But then Ms. Impact suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note and the person thought to have hidden it.
Is Juan Carita the victim of this murder?
That's why I think that Ms. Andrews got close to Mr. Carita, all to get the suicide note back.
That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me.
What?
Who was it that first told us about the relationship? Better stated, Ms. Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Ms. Impact's?
It was Edgeworth.
It looks like he's still the one in command of the ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Well, here we go. No turning back now, is there?
Nope.
Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please.
The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court, Ms. Adrian Andrews, the person to discover the crime in Mr. Juan Carita's room. What is your occupation?
I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Ongard.
I see. Now then.
Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request.
Yes, sure. What is it?
I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently.
No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossip Land.
If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me.
Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim.
Yes, I was seeing Mr. Carita. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan, but this is a private matter between Juan and myself.
So it was a frying bait. Was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing.
But I didn't kill him.
No one is accusing you of that.
I think there's someone who would beg to differ.
I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Ms. Andrews.
Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place.
I found the body.
It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Yes, sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime, and I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing.
And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor.
I see.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Phoenix, she is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match.
Yes, I know.
In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing.
Disrupt her pacing?
She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking, so you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand?
Alright, so I guess just let me know.
It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room.
Go.
After that, I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock.
Press.
Hold it! You were in shock?
What? Was I not supposed to be?
Sandra's a very calculating person. Despite how close they are, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Greenup.
Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked.
Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not.
I see.
What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo.
Forward.
I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice.
Press.
Hold it. Juice?
Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself.
But you didn't drink any of it, did you?
Huh?
There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it.
I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it.
Ms. Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Carita, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct?
And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time.
Mine was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you.
Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing.
What one thing?
Never mind. It's no big deal.
What she's starting to say just now.
Press further.
Ms. Andrews, I'm convinced that as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was.
Actually, so would I.
I'm sorry. It's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over.
Alright. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This mess of glass shards?
It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case.
Why did you withhold such an important piece of information?
I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. I was the one who knocked the flower vase over where it fell into the guitar case.
Okay, so was it the guitar case? Remember the stain on the top of it?
Yep, I remember it. Objection! You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct?
Yes?
And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case?
Is there some problem with what I said?
It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Ms. Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. That's very true. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case.
And what is that?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor.
And what is wrong with that?
If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case.
Huh?
Objection! What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all?
Objection! No. Think back to what Ms. Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else.
Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case.
Objection! But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all.
That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it?
Seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case?
Make her testify.
The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle.
I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this. But it is you.
I can't believe I'm doing this either.
All right, I'll follow along. For now, Ms. Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. That's why I opened the case? Even I don't know.
That's whack.
Looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting.
Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination.
Using any way to change the topic of convenient escape for a weak man. Right. Not gonna change voices this time. I'm gonna remember what she just said. Remember she said, don't remember too clearly because she was a bit dazed. Keep going. Did she? Check, press the guitar case on that.
Present the guitar
Yeah,
case?
present.
Objection! There is no way you were the one who opened the guitar case.
Why would you say that?
It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim.
What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left the prints just because I touched the case.
What do you mean?
What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems that the witness is wearing gloves at the scene of the crime.
That's strange. What is she wearing, a costume?
You were wearing gloves. Isn't that a little strange?
Why is that strange?
Hang on, I think I know why. Because,
Yeah, she was wearing that. Yes.
Ding, ding,
Ding,
ding.
ding, ding, ding.
Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time?
No, and then present that photo.
Yes.
Take that!
Objection! I think it's time for you to go home now, Wright. Before you hurt yourself, that is.
Hurt myself?
It's all right, Mr. Wright. You don't have to push yourself so hard.
Guess I was trying a little too hard there.
Now, if the defense has no further objections, let's return to the testimony.
Well, I guess not.
And don't.
Alright, so let me just keep going. So let's present the case again. Objection! Let's just start over again. No way you open the guitar case, why would you say that? Elementary. Only fingerprints on the victim. You shouldn't assume that. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you I was wearing gloves?
That's strange.
You're wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Is that strange? You have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time.
The wine glass. Did she have fingerprints on it?
Because, yep, that's it. I was going a little too fast there. Take that. I had proof right here. This wine glass.
The wine glass?
You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case?
Order, order, order.
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time.
Huh? What do you mean?
I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here.
Everything does. But it's just an empty case.
I wonder if it really was empty, though.
But the guitar, the bright red guitar, was at the studio.
Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar.
You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either.
I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case...
Objection! Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided...
Objection! No, Your Honor. Please recall that Ms. Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I am sure this guitar case has some relation to the suicide note.
No, I don't know. Keep going.
Well, I mean, that's where she thought it was anyway.
Objection! If you are so sure, Wright, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright?
Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case.
Bright red guitar not being the only thing. You don't mean to suggest that a bright black guitar was...
Objection! So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty? Is that it, Wright?
I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove.
Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder?
So what was it?
The Nickel Samurai costume, wasn't it? Or was it that photo?
Well, what does it say? What is it telling me to do?
It's telling you, chance was that the Nickel Samurai Lotus photo can work here too, so try Lotus photo.
Loudest photo.
This is a photograph.
Yes, but what is important is what's in that picture, Your Honor.
In this picture?
It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I am proposing is... inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume.
What?
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right. Are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that?
That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Ms. Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Ms. Andrews?
I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea?
Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo? Order! Order! It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix.
Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume.
Objection! Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Man-on-Guard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room and inside the guitar case of all places?
True, that is a little baffling. Miss Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case?
There was a spare one.
Mr. Rongard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one.
What?
Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel?
Yes, that is what I am saying.
Then how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare costume to the ceremony on purpose.
The confession.
Yes.
But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the German ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
And therein lies the sticking point.
Objection! What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue?
Huh? No, I just...
Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. I believe in you.
All right, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was...
Remember the press conference?
Yep, I remember.
The ticket.
This guy.
Yes.
Yeah, the confession.
What is this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference.
I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right?
But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Rongard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. Now it comes together.
Yes.
But how can that be?
The way I see it, that can only mean one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Kurita himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Kurita was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai.
He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference.
The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something.
The secret with Adrian Andrews. She had to shut him up.
And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself.
Which means that Juan Kurita, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt On Guard.
Yes, I guess this is what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's public disclosure.
Miss Andrews?
I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Pardon me?
Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan.
Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You?
Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway.
He was going to ruin him, huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What?
And do you know what the secret of Mr. Ongar's is, Mr. Andrews? Miss Andrews.
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
Ah, I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt. After all,
Protect Mr. Ongard?
And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Ms. Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior.
yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Here we go.
Matt.
From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him.
No, something doesn't add up.
This does account for everything.
Well, I am the logical type.
We're finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I am ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright.
Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down.
Remember the clues we just heard? Remember she said, from the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt, keep going. So Matt had to kill Juan no matter what, continue.
No, we didn't. But we'll keep going.
Keep going, yeah. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder, keep going. The thoughts are confirmed by the evidence corresponding to the knife. Press.
You could hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage.
Then, what about the button?
Button?
It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Miss Matt's hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright.
Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony.
I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Thank goodness Mia can still look at me.
With an icy stare, yes.
Ms. Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony.
That button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt.
Well, I don't know. I'd say present the autopsy report because I don't think there's something. I think there's something wrong with that. What does it
That's
say?
the autopsy.
He was strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife.
Alright, so objection. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf.
Strangulation?
The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died.
What does that mean?
Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume. When?
After the knife was stabbed into the victim.
Exactly. Which means it is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight.
Ah!
That's right, Miss Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's already dead body.
Order! What is the...
Objection! What is the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change?
Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve?
What purpose?
We now know this button was not torn off during a fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposefully rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it?
Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it?
Pin the crime on Arngard.
There is only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Arngard. There is no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. Arngard was set up by the real killer, of course.
And the real murderer is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then?
Her.
Finally, I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point.
Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end.
The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Arngard is... Adrian Andrews.
Yep.
Of course. Ms. Adrian Andrews, I choose you. You are Mr. Karina's killer.
What?
Order! Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence to support your charge?
Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Ms. Andrews.
How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me.
I can't, can I? Would you care to test me?
Then what about this knife?
The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Arngard, naturally. The knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Put your glasses back on.
Then, what? What about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama?
This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Arngard was the real killer, there is no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Arngard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him up from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews.
I see. What about the empty guitar case?
That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews.
No,
Objection! But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time.
That's right.
That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, he would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Ms. Andrews purposefully left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this is Nickel Samurai is Mr. Arngard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Ms. Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not?
Please, stop!
Well, how about it, Ms. Andrews? I've got her this time.
Ms. Andrews?
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
That's right.
Well, yes, you are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. By allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Ungard's room.
Adrian Andrews,
Yes?
think hard about what we just discussed. Understood?
Alright.
That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea in her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things look bad.
You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done.
Something I haven't done.
What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence?
What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless.
What?
Everything you have proven is circumstantial.
Circumstantial?
Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Ms. Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr.
Well,
Carita.
he's got it in his pocket, but is it good wise to do it?
Ms. Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Carita?
I believe this may lead me to incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But Ms. Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There is nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No! She's taking that defiant attitude again. Mamiya, what should we do?
Somehow we've landed in the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Ms. Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof.
But that's not true!
In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess.
Recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial...
Tomorrow?
Oh no.
We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then...
Hold it!
Hold it! Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. Trial, please continue the trial.
What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he?
That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya...
But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now that this court is...
Objection! Objection! It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you...
It's true Ms. Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation was something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true. But...
Actually, there is one little thing that I'm curious about. Ms. Andrews? When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice.
Yes? And?
I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice.
So my actions were unusual? But I've already...
Before you speak, I want to state that if you have reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect.
Testify?
Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edward today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Ms. Andrews, if you please.
Alright, here we go. And I found the body.
That glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and I saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tried looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
Wait, clumsy? Poured for it? No, wait a minute.
So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial.
Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left.
I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours?
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Alright, you just...
Alright. This is a glass of juice. Water soak. Keep going. Surprisingly, I walked into a room, saw it was stay. Okay. Jumped over and tired looking in the corner. Okay, keep going. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. Check the photo. You know the crime photo? Present that. Present.
Objection! So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him?
No, not at all.
Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body?
What is the meaning of this?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There is a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Carina's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought here was a dead man.
That's... Well, you see...
I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink.
Your point is...
Ms. Andrews, your testimony just now is all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly, that you are the real killer.
No!
It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Ongar, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible. You're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt. I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan.
You were the one who refused to testify, and your reason for not doing so is that you might end up incriminating yourself.
That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Ongar's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? I don't think so.
Nope.
Have we found the truth at last?
What's wrong, Phoenix?
Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't.
Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict to Mr. Matt Ongar.
Objection! Objection. Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute, real truth.
The absolute real truth? What are you...
Witness, don't you understand yet?
Huh?
I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, men on guard will go free. And in his place, you will become the guilty party.
That's a lie. I don't believe you.
What?
I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty.
What in the world is she talking about? Had she lost it?
I can't speak about it. I'm too scared.
It's Francisca von Karma.
Huh?
Don't you remember, Phoenix? Ms. Andrews lives by gripping tightly on the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself.
Then right now, Ms. Andrews is...
Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss Von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt on guard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging on to them.
Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. Ms. Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That's my only priority.
It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help. Please. Someone. Help me.
Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor?
The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do.
What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say?
Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime.
Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except the woman crying over there. Right? Nope. Who kidnapped Maya?
Yeah? Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
Force Andrews to testify.
Yeah, it's up to you. Or of course not guilty, but whatever.
I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Ms. Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding.
Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Sure, Mr. Ongard would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end?
Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me.
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth.
You're wrong.
What a shame.
So,
I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However,
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Ms. Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court.
Stop.
Mr. Edgeworth!
This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness.
so I would have come to this no matter what I chose?
Yep.
What?
And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past.
Stop. Please stop.
No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here.
That's
the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report.
What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews.
secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world.
Please, please stop! I beg you! If people found out, I'll...
If you're gonna say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me.
Edward, how can you be so cold?
However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me.
I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore.
I say grill the shit out of her on this one. Just grill it.
When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume.
Yeah, I say press on every statement.
Stab the body with a knife? But why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man.
What do you mean by all of this?
It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth.
The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time.
Last time?
So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Carita, in the chest with the knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime.
What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Ms. Andrews supposed to be the real murderer?
Mr. Wright, please get over your shock. Please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination.
Yep, just keep growing. You don't have evidence to, should we be the truth, King?
When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest.
Hold it. But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead?
He had a scarf tied around his neck. But that scarf is a part of the German ninja's costume. So I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice. When I realized he was dead, that's when I formulated my plan.
Hold it. What is this plan you had?
I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because, one, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt.
So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button.
The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room.
Hold it. That was so you could get the knife, correct?
The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button.
Hold it. So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife.
It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. I moved on its own. It moved on its own. And when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect.
So You thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Onguard's Hakama.
Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience.
Called it an inconvenience?
There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway.
I'm willing to bet my spikes it was lava.
There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth.
That's his old bag for you.
I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. And that's why I ended up using the Nicholas Samurai costume.
Hold it. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you?
Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the awards ceremony.
You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct?
Yes, Juan wanted me to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there.
What is this secret?
That, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume.
I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Onguard's room and planted the button.
Into Matt's Hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
My word, what does all this mean?
Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Onguard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk.
Francisca, huh?
She said that I should under no circumstances confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer.
Wait, Your Honor! The defense still...
Objection! Right? It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Ms. Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. Cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. We couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit, but please let him go, Mr. Wright.
But...
Mr. Edgeworth, please place Ms. Andrews under arrest for further questioning.
Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
Well, there you go. Now what?
What happens now? The judge left, but there's... What?
There's nobody here.
What the... Hey. What's going
There you
on
go.
here?
Maya's done. I guess. Today's trial. It's over. And I didn't win an acquittal.
Witness, would you mind if I asked you something?
Huh. Edgeworth.
What is it?
Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it?
Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright, I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day.
The room.
That day?
Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him.
You found that card. Next to the victim's body.
I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right?
Yeah, I guess not. But it's still a strange card, if you ask me. There's gotta be some sort of connection. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why.
Hold it! Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry!
Edgeworth?
Do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? This... I can't believe you hid this from me all this time!
I didn't mean to.
What is this all about?
I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card. What in the world is it and what does it mean? Continued.
Well, let's see. It's been 2 hours.
Yep, I think now might be a good time to stop.
Yep, let's cut this short, folks. My God in heaven, what are we seeing?
What is going on?
Well, tune in next week, because,
There's another investigation, but yep. So what happens now?
I mean, is Maya finished? Or what's going on here?
Or-
is there another investigation? Or is there another chance? Or what?
I don't know what's going on, but you know what?
There's only one way to find out, and that's tune in next week.
Yep, so I am the Cannonball Alex Steele.
I am the Package Angel Steel.